Let me welcome you back to another episode of me versus the devilish I-30. And if you didn't catch what happened last week, here's a quick recap. Program the key, so we're going to give it a whirl. And we managed to pull both engines. And I guess if you're wondering how the progress is going, well, let me give you a sneak peek. So let's waste no time and let's get into it. So let's pick up exactly where we left off last week, and that's with the two engines out. And I need to jack the engine back up so I can get all the balls that hold the gearbox onto it. And once they're all loosened, it's time to bring it down and pull the gearbox right off. Well, actually, I may have forgotten a bolt. That happens too. But now that that's gone, pop right off. Actually, right off. Now moving on, we're going to jump to the auxiliary side and we're going to start with the engine mount. Although they both mount the same onto the engine, the mounting point to the car is different. But we have both, so let's swap them out, we'll be golden. Now we're going to get that bottomed up and moved over to the air conditioning unit. We did have to remove the auxiliary belt, obviously. I also had to remove the thermostat housing and replace it with the other one because it was pointed in the wrong direction. Now I'm just putting on the other AC unit, putting back the serpentine belt, and that should be it for this side of the engine. Now at this point I was not aware that this heat shield had no intentions of coming off, but with a little bit of gentle manipulation, it was forced to leave the scene. Now unfortunately the same would not be said about the manifold. So how the hell am I supposed to get to this bolt with this in the way? I don't see any connection separations that can be made because that's welded on here. So what the hell? Hyundai, explain, please. What the hell is going on in here? That's crazy. And this took so long that it destroyed 3 batteries on my angle grinder and my camera died while I was doing it. But we got there in the end. Thank God for that. And to lift my spirits, I decided to take off the rocker cover from this engine. Reason being that there was a very heavy oil leak out of it, both on the front and the back side. I only removed it because I still didn't have the new gasket and I wanted some space for when I was going to do the front of the engine. And now that I was actually calm and collected, putting the correct manifold onto the engine was a breeze. Thank God for that rocker cover. And even though this bolt was rounded and I couldn't get it off, I had to come up with a different way to secure the heel shield, I was still very happy about the way it came out. So all of this here is actually the same as all of that there. So it's perfect. So all we gotta do now is change the injectors and the manifold off of this one onto this one. So I'm gonna get the strip in on this. The first thing that came off was the wiring harness for the injectors. It was actually very simple. It was just a few connectors and 2 bolts. Moving on to the rest of the manifold. Although there was still a lot of connections and a lot of bolts, with time it came off perfectly. There was absolutely no difficulties. So I can't use this rail off of the original engine because the mounting points are different. They mount like this, and on this one they mount like this. Can't see why it would be an issue. It's just a piece of aluminium, so hopefully it will work the same. The injectors are the same, so I don't see the issue in that. Yeah, should be good. And the installment was the exact opposite of removal, except it went a little smoother, so I was super happy about that. And in the meantime, the gasket had arrived, so I put the rocker cover back on where it belonged. Now, and with all of that done, the last thing that has to go on is the small harness. That's just a couple of plugs and a couple of bolts. And we should be done, ready to go back into the car. Well, that's what I thought anyway. So just figured out that the plug for the alternator is different. So I'm gonna have to use that old thing. Let's just get it out of the way. Now, and finally, that's it for the engine. Now, I had no great issues with putting the gearbox back on, but it was a little bit fiddly, a little bit taxing on the back, but with a little bit of patience, a little bit of finesse, it sat in its place, and we can go on and put all the bolts in and tighten them up. Now, and finally, with all that done, we can concentrate on getting this lump back into the car. Wait a minute! Alright, I'll tell you what happened to the other engine. But you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it at all. Don't believe me, just watch. Knock, knock. Here's Rodney. Alright, I'll admit it. The engine and the joke had one thing in common. They both tanked. And that was the last joke. Now let's concentrate on getting this engine into the car. I can tell you, it was no easy task. There was way too little space, and you could clearly see that it should have went in from underneath. But I was being relentless, didn't give up, and eventually it got in. So the camera died, but now the engine is in. As you can see, sitting swell. So the next thing we gotta do is, obviously I raised the car up real high, but now we gotta put in our drive shafts. Then we're gonna put in this engine mount and connect the exhaust. So let's waste no time and do that. And in my experience, it's always easier to put in drive shafts than it is to take them out. It must be dealing with all those seized and rotten bolts. Alright, so I'm pretty sure everything is plumbed in and connected where it should be. So I'm gonna put in the battery now, connect it up, and we'll go for our first start. Now, I just heard the fuel pump prime. So this is not very sturdy, but let's hope it holds. I'm gonna go and try and start it. And this is ladder from the future. You can hope all you want. You need to tighten that terminal down, otherwise there'll be no power going to the engine. And this got me worried, because no matter how many times I turned it over and it finally looked like it was about to run, it would eventually just die. And I tried it again and again, and the same outcome. I could not wrap my head around what's going on. You must think we were successful. So did I. But as soon as I let go of the accelerator, yep, you've guessed it. Okay, so we can get it started to a certain degree. Now it's time to figure out why it's not running. That's gonna be fun. So, I didn't understand why the car kept cutting out. I had difficulty starting and everything. So I had another look around, and lo and behold, I forgot a plug. Alright, that bad boy goes right in there, if you can see it. I'm not sure if you can in there, but it is dirty, so I'm gonna clean it up and get it together, and then it should start perfectly. Take two, let's go. It's absolutely A-bomb. So we're gonna go and sort out the exhaust, and we're gonna dress the whole engine bay so everything is where it's supposed to be. No more of this running weirdly stuff. So let's waste no time and get to it.
A few moments later.
And I've genuinely never experienced this in my life. Just as the car was finished, I went for a test drive and it broke down almost immediately. Yeah, so we managed to get it back into the shop, and it seems like this drive shaft here popped out or broke. I don't know. We're gonna lift it up, go underneath, and have a look what's going on. Damn. Now you'll probably see me do that a bunch of times, so I didn't want to bore you with it. I just drained the oil, disconnected the ball joint, and pulled her out. It's over here, and yes, she's all popped out and mangled, as you can see. I'm not gonna fix this because I do have a spare one here. So I'm just gonna make sure the threads are all right on this. I'm gonna whip it back in there so just to fix our problem. And I just can't make this up. If all of this wasn't enough, the car had more surprises for me. So the engine has developed a rattle at lower RPMs. When you get it up past 1,500, the rattle disappears, which is probably the tensioner on the chain. They're oil fed, so when you give it more pressure, it puts more tension on the chain. Chain is probably stretched as well. Didn't look that bad, but it proved different after driving it for a bit, so we're gonna have to swap it out. What we're gonna do first is take off the wheel, obviously, and the arch lining. Put something underneath the engine to keep it stable. Take off this bad boy, the alternator, because the water pump is underneath it, so it needs it for the space. We're gonna take off the rocker cover, make sure that the engine is timed, and then take it apart, put on some new stuff, and put it all back together. So let's get to it. So here's the new part, put it online, wasn't too expensive. It comes with a chain protection lubricant, your chain, your guides, and your tensioner. That's all you need. And at this stage, I genuinely don't believe there was anything this car could throw at me that I couldn't take with a smile. So I just powered ahead and tucked the engine apart for the 400th time. It was so much fun. Now, the reason I thought the chain was okay when I had the rock cover off last is because when it's like this, it's stiff. Watch what happens when I start rotating it. I have a lot of movement there, sorry. See? And that's a ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. That's not great. Now, let me show you the markings. There's one down here. Let me see, can I zoom in on that? So as you can see, you have your 10 degrees off, 5, and then your 0 and your nudge in the wheel here. Whoop, see? That's nearly there. And then on top here, you have a little nudge. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there somewhere. Yep, that nudge there. And that has to line up with the top half of here, so with this here. There's a nudge on this as well, but you can't really see it because, here it is. It's right there, see? So I'm gonna keep turning this till the two notches on top face each other onto the straight line there. And we get this one back at 0 there. So wish me luck. Actually, what I'll do next is take off the water pump, put a bucket underneath for any water that will escape. So I got it in the right position. You can see in here, the 2 marks. And also these ones on top, they'll come into play later. See this dot here. And this dot down here. Because the chain we got is marked, so they will have to go there. And on the bottom there, you can see the dowel and that at 0. Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna heat up this bolt and hit it with an impact, see what happens. Now I spend about 3-4 minutes heating it up, and that worked like a charm. Perfect. Let's see how hot is this. Oh, beautiful. Oh. Now let's take off this cover. Voila. So the cover is off now. You can clearly see our timing marks are where they're supposed to be here. Same on the bottom, that's all good. So what we're going to do is take off that tensioner there, take off that guide over here, and switch out the chain. I'm gonna try and get the camera in here so you can see something. But hey. First thing we're gonna do is put on the chain. And as I said, these two align with these two dots that are on top. There you go. Now. So I rotated it a few times and this still aligns over here and down there. So I'm gonna put it all back together and see what happens. First, obviously, I'm gonna clear all of this off, put new RTV on it and see will it blow up or not. So I'm about halfway there. This is back on, the water pump is back on. Check all the markings, it's all aligned, even in the bottom. So now I'm gonna put in the tensioners and the main pulley on the bottom. But I also broke off this timing sensor, so I gotta unscrew that and wiggle it out. See, can I get another one? Yep, so much worse than I thought. The whole solenoid bit fell off and all of the inside is now stuck in it. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it now? Yeah, in there. Yeah, it's all stuck inside. Even the inside bit came out. So now I have no idea how to get it out. This should be fun. So I managed to knock in a pair of pliers like this. And I'm just gonna work it back and forward till I'm able to pull it out. Let's pray. So it took about half an hour, but I managed to get it out. And my tool is gone with this. So I knocked the bottom part of this into it like that and twisted it. And then with the hook part, I put it in. I threw that gap there like that, hooked it and pulled it out. Thank God. Whew, that was a pain. Anyway, we have the brand new to me one right here. So I'm just gonna clean that up and put it in its place. Now, it's all back together. This mat is back in there. Alternator connected there as well. Let's just clip that back up. Now I gotta put the engine mount back. So let's put on the engine mount and then try to start it. Oh. Let's tackle this horn. That's not horning. The horn is here. I just unplugged it and I have a bit of a trailer park setup here with two leads that run to the battery. And we're gonna try put, oh damn, power to it. Okay, so that works. So now let's find where it's not getting power. So here's this fuse box, and according to this diagram, horn and horn. So that's I'm gonna go 15-second row, so that's this one here. Looks good, to be honest with you. Look, damaged at all. I'll test that as well. And then this is the horn as well. 20 amp, and I have a 20 amp replacement here. So let's get that done. Place the fuses, and now let's see what happens. Now here's a bit of the wiring loom from the other car. This being the plug for the horn, and I'm gonna trace these wires all the way back and separate them, so that way I can wire it straight in that car, because I checked the whole thing, everything is okay. There must be a breakage on the power wire between the horn and the fuse box. So instead of going looking for it, I'm just gonna replace it completely. Wish me luck. So as a tester, I'm gonna cut this off, splice into these wires, connect the negative there, and then run the positive up there and see what happens. So I have the negative routed here, and I decided to just go straight onto this. So the middle pin there. So just hooked it up to the middle pin in there like that. And now I just gotta tidy in the wire. Gotta find out which way I'm gonna route it to hide it well. Probably gonna take it from the front and up here, and then I gotta get underneath that and route it where it's supposed to be. So took this apart and I found out that the middle wire there is the green one. So I'm gonna pull that out and splice into it, and probably make a hole somewhere down here to make the other one come out, or probably gonna take the proper path that way. But yeah, I've also decided I'm gonna ditch the white wire and go with the black one, because it'll be easier to hide. Okay, that's what's gonna happen now. So I'm gonna get myself a long black wire to run from there, run it in through there, in here, and then connect into that one, and everything should be hunky-dory.
Keep on howling into the night. You gotta show your teeth, red and white. Oh, get up, the time has come. Yeah, back around the strap.
Okay, so everything's back together, everything's tied together. Use zip tie so it's virtually invisible to tell where it's going through. Everything's back together. Then the fuse box as well. As you can see, that's connected. The only thing I have to do now is to put this fuse back where it belongs. And now, let's go try it. So 3. Hallelujah. Okay, so now that we have it in place, we're gonna go have a quick look inside and see what is in the car. And honestly, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. This was by far the dirtiest car I ever bought in my whole life. Or actually seen. Just look at it. Sides of the seats is absolutely vile. As expected. Let me check. Oh my bejesus. Look at this. That's a pair of Ray-Bans. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. Cool. Clean these up and not tell people I found them here. Amazing. We're already making money. Started on some of the body work, level that out a little bit, now I'm filling it with filler. Trying to get the straight edge back. The back bumper was flaking in a lot of places, so I sanded that down as well. You can see. I didn't record that because I didn't want to bother you with that. It's not much to it, just a bit of sanding. I used this sanding block. I bought it, a hand sander. See, it's nice and straight. Does the work perfect. So we're gonna let this dry. So we're gonna sand it over again. And then we're gonna have to get some glaze and glaze it to make it nice. So leveled out now and washed. So the next step is gonna be masking it off and giving it some primer. Now, so this is all masked up. You can see, I'm gonna go wipe it down and put on some primer. fully coated all around. I'll let that dry and then go on with the paint. So that's the base coat on. It's still wet, waiting for it to dry. Once that dries, we'll put on some lacquer and that'll be it. Well, unmask it as well. The paint looks similar. All of that will get buffed, so hopefully it will blend in better. But yeah, part one completed. Yeah, so that's the finished product here. I mean, I've done worse, I've done better, but I think it's great for what it's for. Now you can see on this side that the difference is there, and the reason for that is that someone sprayed this before and it's gone really, really matte, so that needs to be sanded down and buffed. You can really see it here. So we're gonna do that once this has dried, so we'll give it about 48 hours to flash off. And then we're gonna go and wash the whole car, polish the rest of it, sand it, what we need to do. And that will kind of leave the body then in good enough condition to work on, or to be finished working on, might I say. I have some engine cleaner here and a brush, and we're gonna apply it everywhere. So I guess we don't have to rinse it. Or wait, we haven't washed it yet. Crap. And I mean, what's a little rain after all that paint? Let's just power through it. So that's the first pass done there. Still have a lot of dirt that hasn't came off. So it's gonna need another pass at least before we can bring it in and dial in the rest of the bodywork. And those wheels, but God, look at that. That's crazy. Yeah, so let's go in for a second pass. So that's washed now, best of my capabilities. What we're gonna do now is I have the 1000 grit here, and we're gonna sand down all of this pale stuff. So then when we buff it, it all shines the same. So that's all prepped there. I wiped it down to get it a bit clean. I sanded all of this down. Hopefully it's enough. I have to test that with the sander, or with the polisher, sorry. You can see all over here, here, and a couple of areas here. So we're gonna let that dry and buff the whole car, see what comes out good, what doesn't, and if it needs to be, redo some areas. Whew. Can't remember the last time I spent this much time cleaning a car. Unless a Hyundai. there's a few other bits that I want to address, and that's this, this, and maybe some of those stone chips. But that's my first thing. So I'm gonna get some matched paint correction paint and a small brush and fill them in. So I have a little bit of the paint here. Don't want it to drip off your brush. To be honest, you should practically be putting on a bit of undercoat and stuff, but I couldn't be bothered. Fill in the white bit like this. At this stage, I genuinely could not believe that I could see the finish line with this Hyundai. I did end up going back and doing all the stone chips on the front because I just didn't like them there after everything else was tidied up. But yeah, I was so glad that I got to finally make it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the final product. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, because I really enjoyed making it. And if you're wondering how it all started off, that video will be over here. Please like and subscribe to the channel so I can continue making all these videos where I do all this nonsense and you get to enjoy it. In the meantime though, I've got a delivery of this pretty heavy box of car parts. And that can only mean one thing. We have another banger to fix. Let's go.